there's so many myths about getting fit, going to the gym, and then there's so many realities that people are not ready for. So today we are going to make sure we break down all the myths and get down to the reality. And you know what? The good thing is that we don't do this if we do not have a professional in studio.
Exactly.
Sawa. I go to the gym. Nicolette goes to the gym. But there's some myths. But what I mean, natumia saizi nimekata the reality. And we're going to talk about that. But in studio we have Hilary Adala. He is the ACE certified lifestyle and health coach. And also he's a consultant in wellness, and he's going to tell us about that. Also in terms of sports, center design development, and so much more. Bro, Hilary, you have so many credentials here. Zingine nikizisema, I think the Kenya Revenue Authority will come and knock at your door. Chief, are you taxed to all these credentials?
And then
tax?
This is just part of, there are so many. I've just didn't mention some.
No, you don't want to mention them.
We want to know.
So they couldn't fit on the script.
They
so
couldn't,
yeah. So right now here I can mention them, but just to start, introduction, who I am.
Yeah.
I'm Hilary Adala,
Yeah.
lifestyle and health coach, just like you said. ACE certified.
ACE certified.
Credibility is key. Very, very important. Yeah. So ACE is American Council on Exercise. So it's a certifying body that is accredited by the American Council on Sports Medicine and the American American Heart Association. So lifestyle and health. Our health is reflected by the kind of lifestyle that we live. And when I started my career in fitness, I did what we call group fitness instruction. And then I could get my clients to get to their goal and all that. And then from there, I could not now move beyond that. Yes, we've reached our goal then. Beyond reaching my goal, what else? Okay.
What else?
So that's when I went back and did now what we call lifestyle and health coaching. Now, lifestyle and health coaching now is basically not about physical, because physical is basically about nutrition, exercise, sleep habits, and all that. Now, for you to live a holistic lifestyle, it goes beyond physical. There's mental, there's emotional, and then there's also spiritual. And we're going to break down that down in a bit. But today we'll be speaking more about myths versus realities in fitness and health. And I think the first thing we're going to talk about is women. Yeah. A lot of women come to you and the first thing they're like, I just want to tone, but I don't want to look like a man. You know, I don't want to have muscle like a man. And that's a myth. You know, as men and women, we are built different.
Right.
The kind of hormones that run in our system is what differentiates us. Okay, so men have a lot of testosterone. Women also have testosterone, but it's a bit of it. But they have more progesterone and estrogen, which are responsible for the physical features that they have. Okay, and those hormones are also responsible for your nature. Okay, so when you have more testosterone, what that means is you'll have more masculine features, and that's where now the muscle comes in. So if you are a woman and you work out and you do crazy heavy weights, you don't really have big muscles like a man. So those women you see doing competition and they have muscles like men, they use they just don't do the normal workout. They work out and now they use what do you call them?
Supplements?
No, not supplements. Supplements are fine. Supplements are just food. Why am I forgetting this? They're using steroids. Now, what steroids contain? They contain a lot of testosterone. So now you're injecting the testosterone hormone into a woman. So that is not naturally occurring in her body. That's why she'll now have biceps. That's why she'll have a well-defined triceps. That's why, And just a normal woman working out, you won't really have those big muscles because that means that you'll have to work out 3-4 hours a day. You can't really be going to work normally like Nicolette is here. You have a regimen where you're just waking up, you're working out, you have 2-3 nutritionists, then you have a doctor who injects you and all that. So they normally do this it's just for sports or for an event. But when they are off season, that is not how they look. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, so naturally when a woman just works out, all you're going to do is just tone. And toning basically means removing fat and building muscle.
And building muscle.
Yeah, so if you build muscle, what you're going to do is, as a woman, you're just going to have a nice toned body. Yep, but you'll not have muscles like a man. So women out there, don't be scared of going to the gym and lifting weights, because most of the time women will just go like, I'll just do a bit of cardio and a bit of small weights, and that's enough for me. That will not give you that sexy back that you're looking for. It will not come through. It only comes through because now you're building your upper back. You're building your core. You know, you're losing fat around your core. You're building your glutes. So that gives you that
Definition,
figure. You know, that gives you that definition. And we're going to go into that, because that's also depends on your body type.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
I was even going to ask you, genetics do play a big role in both men and women and how you end your end results when it comes to working out, right?
Yes. Genetic plays a very big role, because now we have two shapes. We have what we call the apple shape, and then we have what we call the pear shape. So in the apple shape, what that means is, you know how an apple looks like. So you tend to store more fat around your core. But now people with a pear shape, they tend to store more fat around their glutes, their thighs, and all that. So that's why you'll find people with different shapes, and that has a lot. That's why genetics has a lot to do with how you look. So you cannot have an apple shape and expect to work out so hard that you end up having that pear shape. It won't work.
There's no way.
There's no way.
So all these guys who have been told, come, let's do a training regime for 2-3 months, you'll tone down and we'll make sure that, your lower body, where in your tummy, where there's all that visceral fat, itapotea. Having the apple shape.
Itapotea, but to a certain level, depending on your body type.
Right.
Yes. Because you see, when it comes to fitness, I think it's very important that people have to understand anatomy. Anatomy is basically how you're shaped, your bone structure, how basically how your muscles are attached to your bones and all that. That is genetic. You cannot change that. So when now you're setting goals, and it's very, very important when a client comes to you and you're setting goals, they have to be realistic. There's what we call the SMART. Yeah, you have to be very specific.
Yes.
They have to be measurable.
Yeah.
They have to be attainable. Okay. Then you have also to be realistic, and then now time bound. So most of the time, the biggest problem people have is when you're setting goals, we don't use the SMART objective.
Yeah.
So people end up, after a few months, you promised me this, and now you've not given me what you told me. It's because you didn't really sit down and see what is real and what is not. What can we be able to achieve and what can we not be able to achieve?
What we can't be able to achieve.
Yep.
Okay, another myth right here is that now you've started your workout, and then you'd hear maybe there's someone in the gym or your friend. Trainers at least are very professional. They don't tell you about this, but your friend will be like, "Hey, chief, hujatoa hata jasho hata kidogo," and you're working out. Are you really getting to your goals? So the myth is, when you're working out, you have to sweat tremendously.
Okay.
Can you debunk that?
That's
myth?
actually a myth, and it's important to have professionals to debunk it. So basically, there's what we call sweating threshold. Sweating threshold is different. It's also genetic. It's different in different people. Nicolette can just be eating ugali here and she's sweating,
Correct.
But then there's someone who can actually run on a treadmill for a whole 10 minutes and they're not putting an inch of sweat.
Wow. Yeah.
Because of genetically, their sweating threshold does not allow them to sweat so much. So it's genetic. So working out and sweating or the effectiveness of your workout cannot be measured by the amount of sweat that comes out from you.
Right. And is that also affected by maybe a supplement you're taking, for example, creatine? Creatine is known to store water more in the muscle.
Yes.
So it prevents you from losing water.
Yep.
That also can affect that.
That also can
sweating.
affect. Yeah, that also can affect, because what creatine is very important, not just for as a pre-workout, but it's also important for recovery.
Yes.
Yeah, you end up retaining a lot of water, which is also important, because at the end of the day, 90% of your body is water. Yeah, but it depends on how or where it's stored in your body.
Right.
So the bulkiness and all that comes from the water retention. But it's not so much. Sweat is basically water and some salts.
Yes.
There are toxins that your body is supposed to remove. So we have what we call the lymphatic system in your body that is responsible for that. So you only sweat, or your body only removes what it needs to remove, what is toxic.
Right.
Yeah, those are toxins that are supposed to come out.
It's supposed to come out.
Yes, and that's why sweat is also different. There's sweat that is just water. The sweat that has a lot of salt, you know, it's different levels of sweating. If you're very unfit, you'll find that your sweat has some kind of a smell which is a bit strong because of a lot of uric acid. Okay, but if you work out and you're healthy, most of the time you'll just have sweat that is, it doesn't have a lot of salt. It's kind of just does not have a smell. Yep, that shows that you're healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, so your body is able to retain more salt because these salts are very important. It's potassium, sodium, calcium, very important in your muscle contraction and relaxation. Yep.
Now,
That's interesting.
Now, another one that I was wondering, and Queen Nikki, I think you can even explain this even better to Hillary, because I suffer from this. So before I even say it, you already know what it is. So
Stretching.
You can, stretching.
Before and after workouts, the importance of stretching.
Stretching is very important, and people need to understand there's a difference between static stretching and dynamic stretching.
Yes.
These are two very different stretches. So most people don't know what to do before and what to do after. So before you start working out, your muscles are normally not as flexible because your system is not warm enough.
Yes.
So you need to do you need to do dynamic. Dynamic means there's movement in that stretching. So what you're doing is you're trying to raise your heart rate. Once you raise your heart rate, what happens is now there's distribution of blood around your muscles and all that that now makes it more flexible. Okay, so now once that happens, it means that now stretching is basically you're trying. It's about safety. You're trying to stretch your muscle, but also safety is very key. You might end up breaking it. Okay, so when it's warm enough, it becomes more flexible. So dynamic stretching is supposed to be before. After is where now you can do static stretching. Is where you hold your stretch. When you hold it, it's okay because now it is warm enough. You've been working out, so it's okay. You can now do the long stretches where you hold a stretch for long.
So give me an example. For example, today let's say I'm going to work on my upper body, which is bicep, tricep, and my shoulders. So what is the static? What is the dynamic stretch out or work that I need to do before the stretch, and what will be the dynamic, not dynamic, but static stretch afterwards?
Okay. So when you're doing things like star jumps, but you do it just light. Yeah, what you're trying to do is you're trying to push more. Whenever you become active, your system now pushes more blood to the working muscles. Okay, so now when it's dynamic, what you're just trying to do is so that there's more blood flow. Because the more blood flow, it means there's more nutrients, there's more oxygen to the muscle. Because at the end of the day, all you want to do is to activate that muscle. So activation of the muscle is where now you're able to give it efficient. There's efficiency in what you want to do to achieve with that muscle. So when you start, you can do the star jumps, okay? And then you do just dynamic means you're doing movements that there's more movement. You're doing stretches that there's more movement. It's not static at all. But now when you're done is when now you can hold the stretch. When let's say you've done let's say you've worked your back now. The stretch is where you hold your hands in front of you and then you pull. That's for the back. Okay, that's for the upper back. The ones that you put your hands on the at the back and then you pull them from behind. That is for the chest. And then you're holding it for 5 to 10 seconds. That is dynamic. Okay, so there's less movement when. Oh, sorry, that's static. There's less movement in static movements. And you're doing it at that point where now the muscles are now warm enough and it's safe for you to do that.
Good.
Yep.
Hey, learn and kushine.
Then there's another myth that goes around a lot. I think we see this with footballers. Like I always say, Haaland has an insane regime. Like he was asked, "What do you eat before a game?" And he said he eats lasagna. And everyone is like, "Oh my God, those are carbs. How are you guys eating carbs and you are supposed to be very healthy?" Like the myth behind carbs and carbs being unhealthy.
Yep. So it's that's why it's very important that people understand nutrition, and they understand nutrition not from what you hear.
Yeah.
But you need to understand it from research. Okay, carbs are very key. Carbs are very important because carbs is what fuels, energy. At the end of the day, carbs break down to form glucose. Glucose is what is equal to energy. Okay, so your brain also uses glucose as fuel.
Yeah.
Your brain can use ketogens from proteins, because I know a lot of people will be like, do ketogen diets, do a lot of proteins and veggies, but you're going to miss out on glucose, because now at the end of the day, your brain prefers using glucose more than ketogens. Yeah, because now what happens with ketogens, they're very healthy, but the bad thing with it is it takes time before your body is able to get it out of the food. And then it takes a very short time for your body to to distinguish it. So it means that if you're using ketogens as a source of energy, it will be very short term. But now when you're doing carbs, you produce a lot of glucose. Now glucose is very immediate. It gives you instant energy. And then at the end of the day, what people don't realize is it's your brain that decides how your body, we have what we call the mind-body connection. So now mind-body connection means that the brain is connected to your body via the nervous system. The nervous system is run by hormones. The most important hormone in sports that you need is adrenaline. Now adrenaline is normally moved from the brain to the working muscles using glucose. So glucose is fuel. This glucose is what, adrenaline makes your muscle to either contract or relax. So the fast movement, the reflex movement and all that comes from how much adrenaline your body is able to pump. And that depends on how much glucose there is in your brain. So your brain pushes more adrenaline depending on how much glucose there is. So if you don't take enough carbs, you're denying yourself performance. You're denying yourself how fast your body is going to use the food that you've consumed to be able to achieve or to perform whatever you're looking forward to do.
So let's say, for example, before I do my upper body workout today, I have a choice of either maybe a teaspoon of glucose, the powder itself, or 2 boiled eggs before I go into that intense workout. Which one would you recommend?
This is what I'll say. Yeah, glucose as it is not bad. But the problem is you need to understand there's a difference between complex carbs and simple carbs.
Right.
Okay. So what people need to know is that simple carbs are the bad carbs.
Simple are the bad.
Yes. Wow. Complex carbs are the good carbs. So basically, what the difference between the two is, simple carbs do not contain any fiber. Complex carbs contain fiber. So now at the end of it all, when you're consuming carbs, it's energy you're looking for. Okay, so when you consume a carb that contains fiber, what that means is it takes a lot of time to break down anything that has fiber.
Right.
Meaning that it's going to take time. Your body is going to that food that you've consumed will be releasing sugar slowly over a controlled period of time.
Okay.
Okay? So if you take a simple carb, what will happen is it will release all the energy at once. Boom. That's why you have a sugar crash. You have a rush. Yeah, you've heard of a sugar rush.
Yes,
a sugar rush is because so much has been pumped into your system. Now your body has to now make sure that it produces so much insulin. To bring down this sugar. Because insulin's function is to bring down sugar in your system. So now if you're putting so much and it's not controlled, what does your body do? It reacts by producing so much insulin. When you produce so much insulin, you end up having what we call insulin fatigue. And that is where now the crash comes in. After every rush, there has to be a crash. But now when you do complex carbs, because it has fiber, it releases sugar slowly over a longer period of time. So you have sustained energy.
So instead of me taking that teaspoon of glucose, you'd rather the fiber or the
complex carb.
Complex carb should be what?
Do a banana. Banana has potassium. It has fruits. At the end of the day, the difference between a fruit and a veggie is that fruits have sugar. Okay, that's the only difference between the two. So it has sugar, but then a fruit in when you take a fruit as a whole,
yes,
it has a lot of fiber.
Yeah,
okay?
That's why juice.
That's why now this myth of juices and all that, it's wrong. When you do a juice, what you're doing is you've denied your body fiber.
Yeah.
When you deny your body fiber, it means that you release all the sugar at once in your system. So that will always give you that insulin. You always, it's high, it's low, it's high, it's low. And that's where also diabetes comes in.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So could you give us maybe examples of, in terms of foods, between a simple carbs and complex carbs.
Okay. The only difference between the two is, like I've said, is just in the fiber. So highly processed foods, what they do is they remove the fiber.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
processed meats.
Processed, especially we're talking about carbs.
Carbs.
Yeah.
now,
So basically, when you do bread, chapati, mandazi, they've removed all the fiber. Yes, that's why it gives you that instant release. So it is important to have them. You see, like Haaland is having lasagna just before.
Yes.
He's looking for that instant energy. It's not long term.
Yeah.
But when he's eating on a normal day, he'll make sure he's having a lot of complex carbs. But before a game, he'll have that because that will give him instant energy. Yeah, so we just, you know, at the end of the day, when you understand nutrition, there's no good and bad food.
Yeah.
It's basically, what are you using this food for? When are you having this food?
Yeah.
Because carbs are very important in the morning and up to lunchtime. That's very important. At night, you don't need that because you don't need that energy.
Okay.
Because if you use and you'll end up storing, because at the end of the day, if it's not energy, it ends up converting to fat.
To fat.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're having carbs at night, what happens is you're storing more fat because now you're not really going to use most of that energy to do anything. You're just going to sleep. There's nothing much you're doing with that energy, so converts to fat.
Ah, okay,
Yep.
okay. That's really informative. And we're joined by Hilary Adala, who is an ACE certified life and health coach stroke consultant in wellness. I hope I got that right, Sasa.
Yes, you got it right.
I know there are other accolades you have and there are other titles. Unfortunately, page iliishia hapo. Together kujaza more.
Mngeniongeza a piece of paper niongeze the rest, but
Tungekuwa umejaza yote.
we'll be having more conversations and we'll be talking about them. Tusipeane too much information. You know, we need to give information in bite size. Where people can actually digest.
Right.
Yes.
Good stuff. So we've been talking about myths and reality. You've talked about lifting weights for women and how they think it will make them bulky. You've debunked that kabisa. We've talked about stretches before and after workouts, the difference between dynamic stretches and static stretches now, and we've also talked about the foods that we eat before and after workouts, how carbs can be helpful before the workouts, and also what foods you need to eat in the evening, that is proteins. You don't need carbs in the evening. Now, this one for me is personal because I started working out last year in November, and I've never been to the gym before. And my scenario was simple. I just want to add on muscle. I want to build on muscle, but at the same time lose the excessive fat that I do not need. And my trainer was simple. Yeah, Joe, you don't have to do cardio. I'm like, what do you mean? So I don't need to go run. He's like,
30
no,
minutes on the treadmill.
No. Trust me. You working on your muscles, strength training will cut down. I didn't believe him until 3 months later when I saw the results on the machine. Now, Hilary, so many people want to lose weight and build muscle, and there's always that conflict, especially guys. You'll hear a greater percentage of women want to lose excess fat. And you'll hear a greater desire for men, especially who are coming up the weights, or someone who's like me, who was round. Very proud that I was an apple. I'm not turning into a peach. No. And I'm not turning into an hourglass. I'll try and be Johnny Bravo, but proper. And that is important to not only lose that weight, but keep up the muscle. So, the myth. Cardio, you have to do cardio to lose weight.
Okay.
What is the reality?
There's basically we need to first understand why do we do cardio.
Correct.
And then we need to understand what it does to our body. Okay, cardio is very, very important for everyone, whether you want to gain or you want to lose, because at the end of the day, your circulatory system determines how much nutrients go to your cells, so to your muscle and to all that. So cardio means cardiovascular is the heart. The heart is the organ that pumps blood to all parts of your body. Blood is what gives you life.
Correct.
If your body is not able to supply blood, you die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've seen a point whereby if you don't do enough cardio, what happens is it depends on your goal. If your goal is to gain muscle, you need to do a bit of cardio. Now you use that cardio as a warm up.
Right.
Yes. So when you use it as warm-up, it means that now your body will be able to, your heart will be able to sufficiently or efficiently supply nutrients to the working muscles so that you get the maximum out of it.
Okay.
So you need to do around 15 minutes of cardio. That is enough for you. Okay. And then for someone who wants to lose weight, yes, you need to do a lot of cardio, but not so much. Because if you do so much, and then you're not going to get enough energy to do strength training. So you need to have a balance of strength training and cardio. The cardio is to make the blood or the heart or the circulatory system become more efficient so that it's able to supply enough to the working muscles. And then now when we are now doing the strength training is direct muscle action. We are working on the specific muscle groups. So if most people, you'll find there's a difference between athletes who do long distance and people who do
short distance
or people who do sprints. You've seen their body types and all that. It depends on the kind of workouts they do. There's what we call fast twitch muscle fibers and slow twitch muscle fibers. When you do a lot of strength training and you do cardio, you build more muscle. And now it's energy that it's not, you won't really sustain that energy for long when you're doing without when you don't build your cardio endurance. People who do long distance have built cardio endurance.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is not it does not relate to the muscle directly so much. That one now goes to the energy stores your system has. We have what we call aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic means you're using a lot of oxygen. Anaerobic is you just use very little for that short time. So short sprints are normally anaerobic. You'll do 10, 100 meters is 10 second sprint.
Yes.
So you'll hold your breath most of the time. But now this other one, which is aerobic or this long distance, now you have to understand how your body now takes the oxygen slowly over a longer period of time to keep you active for that long. So for someone who wants to build muscle, do cardio as warm-up.
Or is now the dynamic warm-up?
The dynamic warm-up.
Okay.
So 10-15 minutes, that's enough. Okay? And then you'll also notice most of these build people, they'll do a lot, but when it comes to something that will require endurance, the endurance is very low.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Even if you'll find, that's why you'll find maybe a bouncer fighting with someone who's doing maybe boxing or someone who's into martial arts. That is a fight that will end in a bit because this guy will be able to throw 2-3 punches and they'll be tired because their cardio is very weak.
Yes.
They have so much strength, but their endurance is very, 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 very minimal. So we need to find a balance. As much as you're doing strength training and building muscle, cardio is also very key.
Wow.
At the end of the day, function is everything.
Right.
Not just power without control, strength without, you need to have that strength. You need to build that endurance also. So fitness by itself has 5 components. Now these 5 components, there's cardiovascular endurance. That's the first one.
Yeah.
There's muscular strength, muscular endurance. Then there's flexibility. And then lastly, there's body composition. Body composition is now how much fat you have in your body, how much muscle do you have in your body, what is your bone density. So those are the 5 components you need to look at. So when you're setting a goal, you need to look at these 5.
Wow.
So people just come to the gym and like, I just want to work out. No, you need to have a goal and you need to look at these 5 components. How do I balance this? Yep.
Okay.
I think to add on to that weight loss topic, this thing of the scale. People always tell you, don't trust the scale.
Yep.
Because you'll find someone looks so heavy and they stand on that scale and they're like 60 kgs. And then someone looks really tiny and they stand on the scale and they're like 75 kilos. And you don't understand. And yet you're coming to the gym to lose weight. You're like 65 and you are big.
Yep. And that's a myth that, especially with women, it's crazy with women. You'll find a woman just comes to you and I'm like, I'm 85. I want to get to 70. Then you ask her, why do you want to get to 70? It's because my BMI says, we should never use BMI to measure whether we are healthy or not.
Say that again, Tafadhali.
You should never use BMI, and this is the reason.
Thank you.
BMI is basically the measure between your height and your weight.
Yeah.
It does not really put into consideration your body composition.
Yes.
Right.
What we need to look at is body composition. Now, when you do a body composition analysis, you'll find that someone can be very muscular.
Yeah.
And now, when they stand on the scale and you use BMI, they'll be overweight.
Kabisa.
Yes, they'll be overweight. It will show that they're overweight.
Mm.
It's because BMI just measures your height versus your weight. It does
Yeah.
not measure how much of that weight is muscle, how much
Yeah.
of that is
Oh,
fat,
yes.
How
how
much
much
of
of
it
that
is
is bone
water?
density, how much of it
Yeah.
is water.
Water.
You know,
Yeah.
so that is why it is very key when someone comes to a facility and you find a coach who understands body composition, they're able to break it down to them so easily and make them understand, okay, now from your body composition, your fat percentage is 35. What you need to reduce is to get it from 35 for a lady, a normal should be 32 and below 32. So if you're 40, let's get it to 32. You want to be athletic for a woman, athletic is up to around 19 there. Okay, so normal fat should be between 32 and around 24.
Right.
And that fat is also very important.
Yeah.
Most women
Yeah.
don't realize.
Another one that you need to debug.
Yes, fat is very, very important. And you'll find that when your goal is just to lose fat. Okay, to lose fat for what? Because at the end of the day, your nervous system needs fat. Your nerves are run by fat. Adipose tissue is run by fat. So it means that at the end of the day, your sensitivity is going to be less when you have less fat in your body. Fertility, all these
Yes.
things,
Yeah.
fat is very key.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, fat is basically used to make
Our hormones.
those hormones are
Yeah.
made by fat.
Yeah.
So we need to know, and let's just not go into fitness because I want to look like someone. I want to be
Online,
this. I want to weigh. Why do you want to weigh 60 kgs? Does it have, is it? Why is it important for you? I just want to look good because I want someone to say, no, it's not about that. It's about functionality. What works for you? It's about your health. Your health first. Everything else after.
Wow.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, whether you'll be weighing 60, 70, it depends on how much of that is muscle, how much of that is fat,
How much of that is bone density?
Bone
how much
density,
is bone
yeah.
density, water, So, and that's where now the body type and the body composition is very, very key. And I think these are things that most people are coming, a client will come to you and it's because they're coming from a point of ignorance.
Yeah.
So that is why it's the duty of the coach to make this person understand. As much as this is the goal you have, but this is the reality. This is basically what you should be focusing on. These are the metrics we're supposed to look at which are more important for you than the things that you... And that's why for me, when you come and do a body composition analysis, yes, you tell me your goals and now you marry the two.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is reality and this is a myth. Let's debunk this.
Let's debunk this.
Yes.
Oof. I like that. I like that. And the fact that we want to talk about, and you've talked about a fat loss, there's also this other myth. Hillary, I want to lose belly fat peke yake.
I like the way my arms look and I like the way my thighs are, but I want my stomach to be completely flat.
Is it a myth to lose only body fat, only stomach fat, that you've come to the trainer to say that you want to lose it? Or the reality is you need to lose fat in total
Everywhere.
around your body?
Okay. Weight loss or fat loss is a very complex thing. It's not as simple as people try to make it.
Right.
And that's why I talked about the body types. Okay? So there are body types who naturally you'll have more weight on certain areas of your body. Okay? So when you're also working out, depending on, but this is also true. You can do some specific workouts to work on specific muscle groups. So like when you talk of we want to lose belly fat. Belly
Correct.
fat, that is natural. Everyone can lose belly fat. But now that depends on the regimen of exercise you're doing and the kind of nutrition that the kind of food that you're consuming. If you're consuming a lot of carbs at night, like we talked, you're storing more fat. If you're consuming alcohol, now let me break this down.
The
A lot
alcohol
of people don't understand. They think, okay, we have proteins, we have carbs, we have fats. Proteins contain 4 calories per gram. Carbs also contain 4 calories per gram. They have the same amount of calories per gram. Done.
Wow.
Fat has 9, but alcohol has 7 calories per gram.
Where
But the problem with alcohol is not the calories per gram in the alcohol. The problem with alcohol is how it's processed.
Right.
Which part of your body processes alcohol?
The liver?
It's the liver.
Yes.
So the liver is also responsible for processing fat.
Okay.
Now, before you go for your drinks,
Yes.
so you have to lay a foundation
Aka
pale,
foundation,
you know,
aka
kanyama,
choma.
kachoma,
Again, it's
kaugali,
protein.
kaviazi.
We normally go after protein first.
And then some
Yes,
carbs.
and then some
The
carbs.
viazi and
Yes.
all that, kaugali, you know.
Yeah.
So now what happens after that is we go and then indulge, you drink.
Mm-hmm.
So now what happens is alcohol affects your nervous system.
Right.
It has an impact on your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So what that does is your body goes into your body goes into shock, because once alcohol has come into your system, your body cannot store alcohol. It has to get rid of it.
Kabisa.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now when that happens, a signal is sent to your brain, hey, there's an enemy. There's an enemy. What do we do? Now let's deal with the enemy. Okay? So in the process, your body is supposed to process, your liver is supposed to process fat. But now your body is like, you know, you're not an enemy to me. We've been friends, you know. I can always, your body can store fat without it harming it. So it's not a problem. So your body will be like, this guy, let's deal with this alcohol first. So it'll be like, you fat, you are friends, you just pass, you just go. So your body never processes fat when you're taking alcohol. So your body just stores fat.
So it stores all that nyama choma fat.
Stores all that
the
fat.
kaugali fat.
Yes.
The foundation.
Wow.
It does not metabolize fat when you've consumed alcohol. And that's where now the belly comes. So it's not a beer belly. It's an alcohol belly.
Say that again.
Yep.
Hey.
It's not a beer belly. So you'll hear, oh, me, I'll just do a gin and I'll be fine. I'm like, no. As long as it's alcohol, the difference is how it's processed by your liver. So your liver will choose to process alcohol until it gets rid of all of it, because it destabilizes your nervous system.
So let me play a devil's advocate here for a minute. What if you eat earlier on? Like your foundation is 1 hour between your foundation, the food inside your tummy, before you have your drink, and by the time you start drinking. For example, after 1.5 hours. So nilikula saa 9, and then I have my vodka, for example, or my beer or whatever, at 4:30. Between that 1 hour, 30 minutes, my liver has broken down the food.
Nope. How long does it take to digest food first? That's the question you need to ask.
There you
Especially
go.
meat.
How long?
Uh-huh.
Meat takes a lot of time. 7-8 hours. Minimum.
So that means if I want to enjoy my drink in the way that I won't gain, I have to wait for 8 hours.
And by those 8 hours, you'll be hungry again.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, I don't discourage people from having drinks.
Yes.
But once you understand this science, what will happen is when you don't eat a lot, you won't drink a lot. See, depending on how big the foundation is, you can absorb more.
Yes. Yes.
So unaweza kunywa more when there's a foundation.
They always say that.
Yes. When there's no foundation, you'll drink less. So you'll find that because now you'll be drinking less, and actually itakubeba rahisi because foundation haikuwa mzito. So it's about how do you we need also to have we need to know how we enjoy our drinks. It's not about drinking so much.
Yes.
It's about the fun in it. It's not about, paka nianguke ndio, we need to talk about responsible drinking.
Kuchafua meza.
Si kuchafua meza. It's about enjoying. It's about the fun.
Yeah.
It's not about, at the end of it all, I don't even know where I left my car. Nimeshuka pale, nimetoka clubs, sijui gari iko wapi. But can I be able to just drink one or two?
Yes.
We enjoy, I'm conscious. I know what is happening around me, because at the end of the day, your safety, your security is also very key. At the end of the day, I know how I can get home, alive and safe and all that. And at the end of the day, I can recount everything that happened around me, because that is the fun. So ukienda pale umebleki, then what is the fun in this alcohol then?
That explanation makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
A lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah, because wow. So all that food is just put to the side.
Yep.
Like, let's break down the alcohol first.
Yep.
And that has also made me understand why you end up having issues with your liver, because you're burning your liver out.
Yep.
Because your liver is processing this alcohol. So you're basically burning your liver out because you're drinking because you have foundation. And but they're destroying.
And that's why most of the time you end up having a fatty liver.
Yeah.
Why? Your body does not process it. So all of it inabaki pale.
Oof.
When people have cirrhosis and all that,
Yes.
because of fatty liver and all that, because your body will be like, let's deal with the alcohol. You fat, we are friends, man. We can hang out, And that's it. That's how we end up having a lot of issues. You'll find someone is thin, but they have a lot of cholesterol because of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you're fat inside, you're not fat outside. If you're
And I
fat
think also
outside, you're good.
that's
It's
also
worse
something
and it's
people
bad
don't
when you're
understand.
fat inside.
I think
You know.
you just
That's
made-
something
you just
people
made
also
me
don't
very
understand.
happy.
That
Yeah.
you can be skinny, but you can
You-
still have cholesterol.
Yes, a lot of cholesterol. You can be very skinny and very unhealthy. You can be very big and very healthy, very flexible. You know, your system.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, health is about how your system is working, how
Yeah.
it's functioning.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
Yep.
Another one that obviously is a myth about sports drink in terms of the energy drinks are essential after every pre and post workout. Now, is it that it's if you can't afford it that you're missing out on something that you're going to gain during the workout? If you can't afford the sports drink, if you can't afford the energy drink, and you only take water, can water supplement that in terms of pre and post workout?
Okay. So it depends on the intensity of your workout.
Right.
If you just do normal workouts, you don't sweat too much.
Yeah.
So you don't end up losing a lot of salt, which is the sodium and all that. So what these sports drinks have is they supplement, they give you back the salts and all, because they help in building muscle. They help in they make you avoid the cramps and all that. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of contraction and relaxation of the muscle. There's a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah.
So there needs to be more salt to be replenished. That is what the sports drinks do. But you can have an option. You can just do some water with some salt and some sugar. It still brings it back.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be, at the end of the day, what is there in that sports drink? There's some
water
sodium.
and,
There's some sodium, there's some potassium, there's some calcium. You can do a banana and then you put some salt in water and that's it.
He said that salt and sugar thing. I remember when we were kids, ukishikwa na tumbo yenye inaendesha kama Ferrari.
Yep.
Unaambiwa, drink water with some sugar and some salt. It'll help bring the water back in your body.
Yes.
So
Because
it
salt,
works.
yes, salt makes your body retain more water. That is what those sports drinks do. So ukikunywa tu maji and you've lost salts, hiyo maji inapita. Your body does not retain it.
Yeah.
And that's why when these oral salts, ORS and all that, when someone, now that is basically what they contain. So they make your body now be able to retain more water now.
right.
Okay. Yep. So it doesn't have to be a sports drink. It doesn't have to be very expensive for you to be healthy.
Exactly.
You just need to know what does this thing contain. What is the substitute for this? And that's it.
Yeah, because you'll find guys lining up in a health store, getting all these drinks, electrolytes this, sugar this, salt this. You find that once bill yake ni kama 4,000 shillings, yet you have broken down that you can have 30 bob and have that post-workout drink very well. A bit of salt, a bit of sugar, na maji, boom.
Because hizo salts, those are electrolytes.
Yeah.
That potassium, calcium, sodium, that's the electrolyte. So basically what's its function in the body? To retain more water. Just that.
That is utterly brilliant. Queen Nikki.
Yep.
So umeona, no stress ya budgets. Maji, salt, sugar.
And coconut water?
Coconut water iko na hizo elements.
So
that we're
coconut
talking
water is
about.
complete kabisa.
It's good. It's complete. It's very good.
It's complete.
Yep.
I still have one more from my end, and now this is for the guys who use supplements for working out, and what happens when you stop using them. So, for example, like creatine stores water in your muscles, recovery, like you've said, or like a protein shake, which has both creatine, high levels of protein and energy. So once you use that and you stop, muscles shrink. Is that myth or is that reality? Yet you're still working out.
That's a reality. This is because the more creatine you use, the more your body retains water, the more your mass, When you stop, what happens is now your system now processes food differently. Now you don't gain a lot of muscle, you don't gain a lot of water, you don't retain a lot of water, so you end up losing it. That's why it is very important that we should not be so used to using supplements. What a supplement means is it's actually supplementing food. It's not you can actually eat food, but the problem with food is it's very difficult for you to get that amount of protein from the kawaida meal you'll have. So if you're able to get that supplement, well and good, maintain it. If you can't, just do normal food, or just try to find how you can get more protein from what you're consuming.
Right.
Yep.
Because in red meat there is creatine.
Yes.
But is it the same levels as
it's
a
not
teaspoon?
the same level as a teaspoon of the creatine. Now the
That you're buying.
concentration is different. And that's why if you just need to, most of the time all these things we do, we want to gain so much muscle, we want to do all that. It's because of, sometimes I feel it's peer pressure. It's someone, I want to look like someone, or maybe I've been bullied, or I just want to be big, But at the end of the day, do you look at it from a time, in terms of function for yourself? Most of the time we are defined by what people think or what people say about us. We really don't do things because of who we are or what we really want. We want to look a certain way to appeal to a certain people and all that. But when you go deeper, you'll find that there's no need of me becoming that big, because I don't need validation from anyone. It's the same way if you're big. You don't need to lose all the weight. It's very healthy to lose, but don't get that pressure to lose that weight because you want to look a certain way for certain people.
Do it for health reasons.
Do it for health reasons. Health first, the rest is supplementary or secondary. So if you want to gain muscle and you want to gain it fast and you don't care about your health or whatever, go do the injections. You'll be in 3-4 months. You'll be very big.
Talking about
But
injections.
how long?
Talking about injections. Let's go to this Ozempic, Manjaro, these weight loss they're actually diabetic medicines that people are using for weight loss.
Yep.
And now we're beginning to see a lot of lawsuits to the companies because of blockages in intestines. There's recently one I had that apparently long-term use of the weight loss drug, especially for women, is literally dropping them into depression to the extent that they're getting suicidal.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yep. You see, one thing, it's just what I've said, that peer pressure and not knowing who we are, and then at the end of the day, we are looking for quick fixes, but you don't realize the side effects are serious, are actually worse, because at the end of the day, Ozempic, that is medication for diabetes. And diabetes, what it basically means, most people have what we call type 2. Type 2 diabetes means your body is producing insulin, but your body cannot use it. And this is because there's a lot of fat around the cell, so your insulin cannot get in to control the sugar. So now when you do the injections and you do all that, what happens now, it's like the insulin injection you have is like a key. It opens the cell so that now the insulin can get in and control the sugar. Okay? So now basically, when you're able to lose enough fat, especially internal fat, your body is able to use its own insulin.
Yeah.
Okay?
True.
But now, someone who's going for Ozempic, they don't realize how bad this thing is supposed to be done for a very for a short period of time, but they don't realize the side effect or the long-term effect this thing has. Because at the end of the day, it's going to affect your hormonal balance. Anything that affects your hormonal balance is going to affect your cortisol levels. Anything that affects your cortisol is a stress hormone.
Correct.
Now, that is what leads to depression. Okay? So at the end of the day, you're doing things for the sake of looking a certain way, but you're not looking at how is this thing going to impact on my mental health, on my emotional health. I'm just looking at the physical. And that's why when I started me being a lifestyle and health coach, I look at the holistic. A holistic person is there has to be a balance in your mental, emotional, spiritual, and then physical. Not just physical only. If you're just working on your physical and you're not working on the 3 other, you're still missing out.
Yeah,
you're not really living fully.
Because for men, we normally say the gym is our therapy.
Yep.
Is our therapy room.
Yep.
You go there, lift weights, and you're out of there, you've solved your problems.
Yep. And in a way it is, because when you're working out, it impacts on your physical,
right?
It also impacts on your emotional, it also works on your mental. And in your mental, in what way? When you work out, your body produces a lot of, there's what we call serotonin, and there's what we call the serotonin and dopamine.
Dopamine, yes.
Now, dopamine and serotonin work in opposite with cortisol. If your cortisol levels are high and now you bring up your dopamine and serotonin, it brings down the cortisol levels.
Right.
Yes. So, cortisol, stress. Dopamine and serotonin, inspiration. So now, depending, and that's why your thoughts, you can control your thoughts. Your thoughts control your feelings. and your feelings control your actions.
Correct.
So where do we start? The loop starts on the thoughts. Thoughts is, what do you feed yourself? Where is your source of information?
Yes.
Yeah, what environment do you surround yourself with that feeds you with those positive thoughts? And that is where when you go to the gym, it's physical, yes, you're working out. It's mental because of the dopamine, serotonin, and the cortisol you're taking down. And then it's also emotional because of the buddies, the guys you find around there, you network and do all that. Okay?
For us women, in the spine.
Yes.
You get saloon, mshene.
Yep.
You feel lighter.
You feel lighter.
Hey, see now, our motion side is the gym.
Is the gym. Yeah. So now imagine someone who doesn't go to the gym. The only place he can remove his stress ni akienda club ama in the bar, and that's it.
Because also in the club, in the bar, your dopamine goes up.
Yes.
Yeah, because of the alcohol and the environment.
Yes.
Like you said, the stress hormone goes a bit down.
Yes.
That's why now, like you said, most people
they go there because they don't know there's other ways, But now you can still, and clubbing is important. Once in a while, do that.
Socialize.
Dance, socialize. It's very, very, because dancing by itself is also on the same level with meditation. I don't know if you've heard that. It has music has a serious impact on your brain. It has a serious impact on increasing your dopamine levels. Connects directly to your brain and connects your soul directly to your body.
So cardio na mziki.
And that's why unaonanga ukiingia pale aerobics, it's music and movement and all that. It's healing, it's therapy.
Wow.
Yep.
It's healing. And
so aerobics is not for women only. That's another myth.
No, it's not.
To be debunked.
Yep. Aerobics is not only for women, but the reason why women do aerobics more than men is because women are more coordinated than men.
Done deal.
Yeah. So when a man comes in and he's not getting the first move, the second move, he'll be like, "Ai, mazee watu watanichekelea, man. I'm so off." Yeah. But when you find a man who is very well coordinated, they enjoy aerobics so much. They do.
Me only coordinate with dumbbells. Either they're both up or they're both down.
And that's why when people go to the gym, people need to understand what works for them.
Right, yes.
It's not like everyone is doing aerobics. No, just find what works for you. If you find what works for you, it's easy for you to adopt it as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for something that you can adopt without stressing yourself too much.
Without stressing yourself.
Yes, you just get in and that's it.
Now, Hillary, as we wind up on this conversation, I like what you said earlier on. There's a person who does not go to the gym, but wants to live a healthy lifestyle from 8 a.m. to before he or she sleeps. You cannot access the gym. What are the ways, using nature as it is, in terms of food, in terms of distance covered, how can you advise either a lady or a man who doesn't go to the gym but can still get a better lifestyle through the normal day-to-day activities?
Okay. So basically, you don't have to go to the gym for you to get your daily maybe steps or whatever. The body rewards, or your body, your brain is rewarded by the activities that your body does.
Right.
And that's where now the dopamine and the serotonin, those are rewards your body gives you, and then you feel so good about it. So basically, it's about movement. So in the house, do the household chores. Don't just leave all that to your house help. Do that, do the dishes, do the cleaning, just get physical. When you get physical and you sweat, you're doing what? You're raising your dopamine and serotonin levels. Yeah. So by itself, it's therapy. Being active is therapy. Just sitting there as a couch potato, just watching does not help you. Scrolling does not help you. Just stay active. The more you're active, your body rewards you for being active. So just make sure you're doing functional things. You're carrying, squat in the house. You can also have home workouts, and there's a lot of them nowadays on YouTube. They are very, very effective, very, very effective. And you have a big option of, if you want to increase your difficulty level, they have advanced, it's very progressive. Yeah. So you don't really have to go to the gym. And then secondly, you need to live a healthy lifestyle in terms of nutrition. Yes. Yeah. So just have more complex carbs. We spoke about carbs. They're very important. But now have more of complex carbs.
Examples of complex
carbs. Now we have, you see the traditional foods, the ndomas, the ngwashes, githeri, just boiled maize. It has anything that has a lot of fiber around it.
Yes.
Mahindi choma, mahindi boil. It has, they've not removed that cotyledon.
Mhm.
That is very healthy,
So the whole meal bread.
whole meal bread. There's a difference between this brown bread. Most of this brown bread is just
Not whole meal.
they're basically it's basically food color.
Yeah.
There's a difference between brown bread and whole meal
meal,
bread.
Because now guys go for brown bread.
Brown
instead
bread
of white
thinking.
bread.
Yeah, it's just food color. You see,
Yeah.
but they've still removed
Yeah.
all the fiber that was there,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's why whole meal breads are very expensive.
Very true.
You'll find that
Mm.
one 400 gram is around 400 shillings.
Mm.
You're like, bread, rye bread.
Mm.
They are very expensive because people understand what they contain.
Mhm.
Yeah. So eating whole does not mean expensive. Just the basic things you get in the market every day. That ugali ya kusiaga, that ugali ya kusiaga.
Number one.
Number
Mm.
one, yeah. Those very, very important.
Mm.
And then we actually in Kenya we are very lucky because we have a lot of organic foods.
Yeah.
Our skuma is organic.
Mm.
Our spinach is organic.
Correct.
The kienyeji mbogas, those ones, just have more of that. Just let's try as much as we can to avoid fast foods.
Mhm.
Let's try. And there's this thing we've always thought that if you're eating fast foods, you're in the middle class or you're rich.
Yeah.
That is not it. You're
Yep.
actually killing yourself.
Mm.
And whoever came up with that idea, I have to eat KFC, I have to look at, it's wrong. Those natural foods that we used to look down upon, those are the most healthy. That's why when you even look at the statistics in terms of diseases and if you look at regions, you'll find that in the cities, people have a lot of issues with obesity.
Yeah.
But back in the rural, people don't have issues with weight. It's
Mm.
because of the foods they consume.
Yeah.
It's because of
Yeah.
how busy they are, because
Yes.
of, they're very physical into, they just get themselves in physical activities without even noticing.
Yeah.
Umeenda shamba. This person is in the shamba from 5 a.m. to 10.
Yeah.
Those are 5 hours of
Those are 5
workouts.
hours of workout.
Yeah.
What you'll go to Kisumu and find a fisherman. They are big, they're muscular, and you're like, this guy doesn't go to the gym. How comes he has a lot of definition?
Mm.
This person has been in the lake from 3 a.m. He leaves that place at 7 a.m. It's heavy lifting. It's
Yeah.
crazy lifting, and then he eats healthy. It's the fish. A lot of the omega.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Yes.
omega 3 and 6 in that fish.
Mm.
He eats natural. So this person is very healthy. This person never has colds and flus. This person is never sick. This
Wow.
person will never get this in lifestyle diseases because of the environment that he lives in. So for a person who is at home and yes, you feel you want to live a comfortable life, it's very important for you to be active. You'll be comfortable, you'll eat bad foods, and then you'll become sick. At the end of the day, all the money you're earning will be going back to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then they'll put you on a cycle. They'll be, let's start this, and then let's advance to the next medication. But the moment you're active, your body by itself heals.
Yeah.
Your body has a way of healing itself by what you eat and being active. And let me finish it by saying this.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand or realize how powerful, the body that you live in, this is the home that you have here. So taking care of that body is very spiritual. Taking care of your body is spiritual because
I like that.
when you don't take care of your body, then there's a lot that is supposed to, you're supposed to be Sam, you're supposed to be Joe, yeah? You're supposed to be generational. Generations will come from you. So it depends on how well you take care of yourself. So for people who believe in God, in the creation story, everything else was created out of word of mouth. They were spoken into existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when it came to the body, what happened?
Created.
God created. He used his hands to build. That
build
means
that
that this
body.
body is very special. So when you take care of your body, it's the highest form of worship. That's why even in the Bible or Quran or anywhere else, it says the body is the temple of God. He used his hand. He took his time to build that body. So don't just be going around not doing anything. Work on that body. And when you do that, it actually ends up working on the 4 cycles. Your mental, your physical, your emotional, spiritual. Work on your body. That's the only home that you live in
Yeah.
in
while
this
you're on
realm.
this earth, yeah.
Yep.
Did you just say it's the highest form of
Worship.
Yeah.
worship?
The highest. Taking care of your
That
body.
has hit different.
Yep. Taking care of your body is the highest form of worship.
That has hit different.
Yep.
Wow. Hilary Adala, a certified lifestyle and health consultant and also coach in willingness. There's so much there's so much we can go on, because now you're getting personal. Even the questions we sent you to may exhaust stories zingine. Bro, you need to come back again
No,
to
I
the
will.
show.
I will,
no,
man.
no.
I will.
Nikki, we need to have Hillary again in the show, because there's so much we wanted to ask, but because of time is not allowing us. But it's the highest form of worship. Take care of your body. It's the only body you'll have in this world. I swear down.